Hello and welcome to Only Stupid Answers. My name is Sam Basher.
And I'm DJ Woolridge.
Today we're talking about A24's Waves from director Trey Edward Shultz. And this stars Sterling K. Brown, Renée Elise Goldsberry, Kelvin Harrison Jr., Taylor Russell, and a whole bunch of others.
Yes.
This is a wonderful film. Quickie synopsis traces the journey of a suburban African-American family led by a well-intentioned but domineering father as they navigate love, forgiveness, and coming together in the aftermath of a loss.
Quick question. Would you characterize Sterling K. Brown, because I read that earlier today, would you characterize Sterling K. Brown's character as domineering?
Extremely. Example. We get a scene, and we'll hop into the review.
Yeah.
When they go to breakfast after church, they have an arm wrestling match in the middle of the restaurant.
Yeah, but the son initiates that.
No, the dad says, Dad says you're talking back, and then he challenges him to it.
When I think domineering, I think like close to abusive, and I don't think that's. I actually, something I really enjoy about the movie is how fine a line they draw with Sterling K. Brown's character, because he does love his kids, and it's very clear. But he's also a very driven man, so he drives his kids. So specifically his son.
We're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So let's circle back a little bit, because I do want to dive into that, because I have some interesting thoughts about that.
Yeah.
I labeled my thoughts as interesting. But going to this movie, I saw the trailer and I thought it was really interesting. And A24 usually has some home runners, or at least pleasant viewing experiences. Yes. It comes at night. Stressed me out really bad. So seeing
on a stress level, how was that compared to this? Because this movie was also fairly stressful.
This is basically like a boat ride in a pond.
That's fair.
Comparison to that movie, because that whole movie, I thought I had to go to the hospital after, because I was so stressed out and I was sweating so much, in a good way, in a very good way. So watching this movie, I was excited. Also, Sterling K. Brown in an A24 movie, it kind of felt like a good combo, and seeing him as a father figure. I have not watched This Is Us, because I know it's going to make me cry, but I don't think that's a good enough reason to not watch that show. But I know he's done an amazing job, and that put him on the map for the most part.
Yes.
So this movie, going into it, I really had zero expectations, besides the fact that it had a Rotten Tomatoes score out already, and I knew it was going to have a release.
Speaking of which, on Rotten Tomatoes right now, it is 85%. With the critics' consensus, an up-close look at one family's emotional ups and downs, Waves captures complicated dynamics with tenderness and grace.
Overall, I didn't know anything going into this movie, but I was excited. Yes. So watching it, I found that every kind of angle of this movie was elegantly put together, I thought. From the cinematography by Drew Daniels to the music from, let me go ahead and get the artists' names. Do you have the...
Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Thank you so much, because I was going to say Atticus Finch, and that is a fictional character. And just everything about it really sucks you into this family's lives, and the movie does a really good job where you kind of don't really travel outside of anyone's immediate relationships outside of the family, or just the family and how they operate. In the beginning...
And specifically the two kids.
Yes, and we start out with Kelvin's character, and we're seeing what it means to be a senior in high school. He's a wrestler, and he's in a relationship, and overall, he lives a good life. He definitely parties really hard, and he lives life to the fullest as much as he can as a young kid, and kind of feels untouchable for the most part. And we see this, let's call it a downward spiral of different circumstances that are out of his control, and then things that are definitely in his control, and he chooses to either react emotionally, irrationally, or violently. Drew Daniels, the cinematographer, and the director do a good job of showing you just the entire family dynamic from different points of view. And it's cool that the cinematography even kind of gives you cues that perspectives are now changing throughout the movie, which is really interesting. And it's one of those movies that feels like it's not meant to make you feel good overall. It feels very honest to life.
Well, and I don't know about you, but like the second it started, I just felt. I mean, when you get Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross to do your score, you're trying to generate a specific type of feeling in your audience member. I assume, because usually watching the stuff they score, I have that feeling, from Social Network to now Watchmen to this, and immediately I was like, this is gonna go bad. I could just feel it, and there's a lot of like impulsive, uninformed decision making going on. But what I like is that, like you said, it spends a lot of time articulating different viewpoints, and even if the decision is irrational, where it's coming from. So there's a sort of amount of empathy towards the characters, even when their actions become less forgivable, as it were. And I will say my one main critique at first is that there's this movie falls into the trend of certain a lot of recent indie dramas where everything starts off like really grounded and believable, and then an event happens that you're like, time out, that's a movie thing. Like that doesn't happen to people. That just doesn't happen. But then the way it decided to take that event and explore it further overcame that hurdle for me. And I liked the way that they unpacked what happened, and I liked specifically the two kids, the son and the daughter in this movie, the way they explore their perspectives and how they differ, I thought was really interesting.
And I'm glad the movie takes the time to focus on each of the family members, because it is important that for a moment it feels like I'm just glad we had time to spend with these people and how they view not only their parents but each other and what they mean to each other. There's a lot of powerhouse performances from the son and the daughter at moments of very vulnerable times in their lives. Yeah. And also I like that A24 is able to get these directors that give really honest performances. To use a comparison, It Comes at Night is very heightened and it's very end of the world. Everyone's stressed out. Things are dire. There's no way out of this. This is just meant to be everyday life. Yeah. And you're able to get these awkward interactions. There's a scene where a kid asks out the sister. Yeah. And it's because of the stressfulness of the movie, you're like, oh my God, something bad's going to happen. Yeah. And, but also I like that you feel that way a little bit and you're able to unfurl as it goes on that it's okay. Yeah. People are just awkward sometimes. Yeah. And if you're able to take a second and allow them to express themselves, you can find a genuinely good person. And it's kind of very slice of life as you watch the movie, that you're able to get honest, emotional situations from everyone in the movie. Now, to focus on the lost part of it for a second, without any spoilers, because I would like you to go out and support A24 with almost any one of their projects. I think they're pretty stellar. You mentioned that it seemed heightened from a movie standpoint. Overall, it is a very movie thing that happens. Yeah. But it felt believable with everything else that was happening in the movie for the most part. Also, there's enough humor in this movie. It is not a funny movie, but there are enough moments of levity that you're able to get by. Again, another comparison, because it's from the same director. It Comes at Night has very little levity. No. I don't think there is any whatsoever. That's why it gave me heart palpitations. Yeah. So in this movie, I'm pleased to say that there are moments where you're able to feel okay, and the world doesn't feel like it's fully falling apart, even though it kind of is around these characters. And again, Sterling K. Brown, I just want to give him a shout out because he, in the movie, plays a very strong character from not only his own character, but physically. There's a moment where he looks like he could rip my head off. Like he's one of those people that because he had to been shooting This Is Us when he was shooting this, and it's like that guy looks like that. Oh my God. Yeah, he's very in shape, and I'm very pleased to report that you're able to get moments where he is being a strong father, where he's able to set boundaries and he has goals and aspirations for his children. Let's say specifically his son. Yeah. That's because we get a main focus on that. Yeah. But also when he's able to spend time with his daughter, you're able to see the more emotionally vulnerable side of him being really honest with her. And it's not a surprise that he is a good actor, but it was the moment that really got me in the movie. And he knows the buttons to push. He's really good at making you feel the feels. And it allows these people, there's a line that he gives during the movie where he's able to break down where they have to talk about the loss, and he mentions people are people. Yeah. And instead of denotating at people as evil or good or righteous or whatever, it's like people make mistakes. Yeah. And that doesn't make you evil, but you did do something wrong. There are consequences. And this movie deals with that. And it was kind of a hopeful outlook on our world, but at the same time not. And it toes the line of being a very honest to goodness family drama that I really appreciate. And also confronts the idea of you want to look for somebody to blame, but really the only person to blame is the person responsible. You know what I mean? Because there are outside factors. Yeah. There are things that Sterling K. Brown's character could have done differently. There's things that the daughter could have done differently. There's things, you know what I mean? But it's at the end of the day, it's but none of that, me watching the movie, it's none of that
excuses what happened. Like, it's not like, his dad's hard on him, but he's not abusive.
No, he's
you know
not.
what I mean? And he's still, you can tell he still genuinely loves his son.
And you could also, it's weird because as you're watching it, you can kind of see where the insecurities would manifest because of his relationship with his mom, but also as the juxtaposition, his relationship with his dad.
Yeah.
And you can see where we get to see some rebellious personality traits. Those are his decisions.
Yeah.
But you are able to see how they could manifest. And since a big part of this is communication, and since that's not happening, you're able to see how he's able to spiral. Again, to reiterate, he makes bad decisions, and those are his thing. He needs to deal with that.
Yeah.
Also, this whole movie takes place in Florida, and so there's like an extra level of stress when it comes to when the consequences that happen. I'm like, oh my God, are we going to get into this territory?
Yeah.
I'd say, to boil it down, because this movie is quite a journey, it feels like a saga through this family's, I'd say, a year in this family's life.
Yeah, at least,
maybe.
yeah.
I hope it's a year, because if it's not, then this family needs to calm down. There's a lot going on. I think it's well worth a watch in a movie theater.
Yes.
Or at least if you're able to watch it at any point, it's worth checking out because I think there are stellar performances,
and it's
a
also
wonderful score, and the cinematography really
is really solid.
When it comes to the brother's point of view, sister's point of view, the parents' point of view, you're able to get that kind of like, in certain circumstances where things are running out of control, you get that feeling with the way it's captured.
Yeah.
And bad decision making. I've never seen that captured by the camera, but you can feel it. Ooh, I just spit a lot, and that's for you. But overall, I did very much enjoy this movie, and I kind of have to back Rotten Tomatoes when it comes to like 85%. I feel like I think that's a fair score that I would agree with.
I would give it a 9. I would give it like an A-. I really liked it. I thought the cinematography, like you said, did a good job of being stylized but grounded and towing that line in a really interesting way.
It's part of the storytelling.
It really engrossed me to, like I said, just right off the bat to be like, because they plant the seeds for decisions that are not in and of themselves necessarily the end of the world, but like, you know what I mean? Those are the seeds that grow into disastrous consequences for some of the characters, and the performances all throughout. I'm gonna. What's the son's name?
Kelvin. Oh, the character's name?
No, the
Kelvin Harrison Jr.
Not obviously Sterling K. Brown, but Kelvin Harrison Jr. gives a really knockout performance. And I haven't seen Loose this year, but I hear he's amazing in that as well. And I really enjoyed him. And It Comes at Night. So I think there's going to be big things for all the actors in this movie.
Yeah, he didn't. No offense, It Comes at Night. I just didn't really get to see him shine in that movie. Yeah. And in this movie, he does.
Oh man, he made me want to cry.
Oh my God, there's a lot of stellar performances. I hope this movie gets its recognition that it deserves. A24, thanks for producing this movie and allowing us to experience it. And thank you for the invite to the press screening. It was wonderful. Please go see this movie. And if you have seen it, let us know what you think in the comments down below. Also, there's a lot to unpack with this movie. So I recommend going with a buddy, because trying to explain it to someone later will be confusing. So go grab your friends, go see this movie, support A24, and let us know what you think down below. Go check out patreon.com/onlystupid-answers for our Super TV Showdown show. That's where we watch all the superhero shows that are on the CW, HBO, what have you, in the lead up to Crisis on Infinite Earth. It's going to be a heck of a time. Don't miss out. And follow me on Twitter at Sam Basher.
Me at DJ Talks Trash.
And Only Stupid Answers at Only Stupid Answers on Twitter.
Yeah, got the vowels from stupid.
Bing, bang, boom. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and we'll see you next time.